Now, Chet Curtis, Natalie Jacobson, Mike Lynch, and Dick Albert, bringing a world of news to New England. This is Newscenter 5 Tonight.
Her career on the line, a Lexington psychiatrist tonight defends her controversial treatment of a Harvard medical student. Good evening and good morning and welcome to this delayed edition of Newscenter 5 Tonight. It has been a grueling night for Dr. Margaret Bean Bayog, and it is not over yet.
The State Medical Board continues to meet an emergency session at this hour, and so far, there has been no decision on whether to revoke Dr. Bean Bayog's license to practice.
We get right details now from Newscenter 5's Jorge Quiroga.
Dr. Margaret Bean Bayog testified during 4 hours of a closed-door session with the Board of Registration in Medicine. Dr. Bean Bayog defended herself against charges that her 4 years of therapy with 28-year-old Paul Lozano developed into a dependent and sexual relationship. The former Harvard medical student, who was hospitalized numerous times for depression, overdosed on cocaine in April 1991, months after Dr. Bean Bayog ended his therapy. The allegations against Dr. Bean Bayog were originally made in a complaint to the board 1 year ago, as well as last week in a separate malpractice suit filed by Lozano's family. They charged that Dr. Bean Bayog's unorthodox therapy, where he played the role of a 3-year-old child and she his mother, coupled with his confusion over their alleged affair, caused Paul Lozano to kill himself.
Any comment for the Lozano family? Any comment for the Lozano family, Doctor?
If the members of the board rule that Dr. Bean Bayog poses a threat to public health and safety, the board could temporarily suspend her license until the board's investigation is completed. For Newscenter 5 Tonight, I'm Jorge Quiroga.
At this point, Dr. Bean Bayog's only public statement has been a complete denial of any wrongdoing in association with her therapy, and she denies any sexual relationship with Paul Lozano.
Well, tonight, 4 Lawrence young men are being held on high bail following a home invasion and rape that has the city's Hispanic community still bristling with anger. The 4 young suspects hid their faces when they appeared in court today. Police say they broke into the home of businessman Hector Matias over the weekend, bound and gagged his family, and raped his 15-year-old daughter.
It's bad enough that they commit an armed home invasion, but then to be tied up and have your 15-year-old daughter raped is, would just send most people over the edge.
That's why you see a lot of community, Hispanic community over here today, because this is terrible.
Bail was set at up to $1 million per defendant, a 5th suspect still being sought.
A tiny 9-day-old baby died in a Florida hospital this afternoon, her brief life igniting worldwide debate over the definitions of life and death.
It's a core question here about what constitutes human existence and how do we treat humans whose existence is different from ours or whose future is different from ours.
Teresa Ann Campbell Pearson had no future. She was born without a brain, just a brain stem, controlling reflexes such as breathing and heartbeat. The rare phenomenon known as anencephaly is fatal within hours or weeks. Teresa's parents knew of the condition and elected to continue with the pregnancy specifically to donate their child's healthy organs to allow other children to live. But they needed the court's permission.
I don't think I can allow them to kill the child to harvest the organs.
In the statute itself, it discusses brain death as cessation of brain activity. Well, how can you have cessation of brain activity if you don't have a brain?
My argument is that, 1, you can't kill people to save someone else, and 2, that better to have 1 less organ transplant done than to consider taking organs from people who are not dead.
I've seen a number of children die because they haven't been able to get an organ transplant that they would need. And to see them die without an organ is a very hard thing.
While the ethical debate continues, Teresa's family tries to cope with the pain.
For her, I am going on. I don't stop. She gave me a lot of strength, a lot of knowledge, a lot of courage.
Teresa's corneas might still be viable for transplant. All other organs deteriorated.
The United Nations Security Council votes Tuesday on proposed sanctions against Libya. The vote was put off at the request of Arab delegates because of a Muslim holy day. But the president of the Security Council says the sanctions certainly will be approved. Those sanctions would take effect on April 15th if Libya does not turn over 2 suspects in the 1988 bombing of Pan Am Flight 103. The sanctions include a ban on all arms sales to Libya. An MIT physicist critical of the Patriot missile is free tonight to share his opinion with anyone he wants. The Pentagon had ordered Professor Ted Postel not to discuss the missile system or an article he wrote about it. In fact, the Defense Department launched an investigation saying Postel may have used a security clearance to get classified information about the Patriot. But the Pentagon has now concluded that Postel's article was based on data available to the general public and on his personal expertise. Bill Clinton and Jerry Brown campaigned in New York Monday, with Clinton taking the offensive on 2 fronts. First, in a reversal of the normal rules of politics, frontrunner Clinton challenged his rival to a series of debates before next Tuesday's primary. No word from the Brown camp on that yet. Clinton also stepped up his assertions that Brown's anti-politics message is not only insincere, but had been lifted from an unpublished novel by pollster and Brown campaign consultant Pat Cadell.
We now know he even had to lift his announcement speech so somebody could tell him what he believed in for this election. This is an outrage.
The Washington Post ran a front-page story quoting the fictional senator in Cadell's book. Our purpose is clear. We must restore community to our nation. Here's Jerry Brown announcing his candidacy.
Our cause is clear. We have to restore commitment to our nation.
There were many other examples, but Brown's campaign dismissed the charges of plagiarism, saying all politicians read words that other people have written. The Vermont caucuses are being held Tuesday. Tuesday night, the 2 Democratic contenders will debate the issues in New York.
This was Hollywood's big night, the 64th Annual Academy Awards. Those of you watching tonight's broadcast saw the excitement and emotions on stage. Behind the scenes tonight, controversy was brewing as a militant gay rights group protested what it sees as Hollywood's negative portrayal of homosexuals. Newscenter 5's Anthony Everett takes this look at the issue.
Oscar.
Tonight, the world turns its attention to Hollywood, but a nation put its focus there today. Queer Nation, the militant gay and lesbian activist group, is taking on Oscar.
Queers have arrived from all over the United States to express their rage at Hollywood's homo-hatred.
At issue is the portrayal of gays and lesbians in such movies as the newly released and controversial Basic Instinct and Silence of the Lambs.
America is being told, indeed the world is being told, that gays and lesbians are psychotic serial killers with long toenails. And they're going to rip your heart out and eat you and throw you in pits and stick you in the head with ice picks. Guess what? We don't do that.
Queer Nation challenged gays and lesbians in Hollywood to reveal themselves, but not everyone approves of the tactics. This was Hollywood in the Hub tonight, the annual Oscar night casino fundraiser for the AIDS Action Committee, where Queer Nation activities drew mixed reviews.
I think it's disruptive and counterproductive. I think that their energy could be placed in a more productive forum.
I would prefer not to see an event like that disrupted, but they do have an important message to get across, and if that's really the only way that it can be done, then I guess that's the way they need to do it.
We're here! We're queer! Get used to it!
Security had to be tightened at the awards tonight for fear of disruptions from Queer Nation. Still, members say they will continue to cross the nation to combat what they say is the phobia in Hollywood and elsewhere against homosexuals. Anthony Everett, Newscenter 5 Tonight.
Coming up in Hollywood, the show must go on, and Oscar night is Hollywood's biggest.
Our entertainment editor, Dixie Watley, has the Oscar winners and losers. Dixie's live report from Hollywood coming up.